What the divine feminine needs to know about hard work to create passive income. And what do I wish I would have known as a divine feminine growing up? This is not a financial talk, okay? This is an energetic, spiritual conversation that also has logical things behind it, because like I said, it takes the masculine and the feminine energy, the yin and the yin. We are here for purpose work. We are here for passion work. We are not here to be worn out and to be tired. I'm sure a lot of my divine femmes are feeling the same way.
Like she said, we're not seeking validation. Well, we know that validation is for parking and not people.
I am not here to judge, okay?
Bitches be my soulmates.
Dear goddess. Yes, you know what's good. It's your girl Golden Hoops, and we are on our first official, it's the second, to be honest. It's the second official episode of Dear Goddess with Golden Hoops, right? And as always, we are here to upgrade that mindset. Okay, we're doing mindset training. We're here to embody our feminine energy. Okay, we focus a lot about femininity on this channel as I juice up my hands, but you know feminine energy comes in a lot of different forms, okay? It's all about what's on the inside, and that's what we talk about, and that manifests, on how you display on the outside. So feminine energy doesn't mean you have to get pushed or toppled around, okay? We don't be like throwing up hands, but I don't know if the situation calls for it. I don't know, okay? We talk about mindset training on this channel. We talk about divine femininity, and we talk about alchemizing your energy, so transmuting your pain into passion and purpose and prosperity, okay? So these are some essentials that we talk about on this channel, and as always, I'm encouraging you to vibrate higher in your divine femininity. Today we are talking about passive income. Yes. Yeah, a lot of you may feel like passive income is a masculine thing. I'm not sure how you feel about it. Let me know in the comments, but a lot of people may feel that passive income is a masculine thing, but actually it is a manifestation of the divine feminine, of a high level of divine femininity. And just because a lot of men have manifested passive income does not mean that it's a masculine thing. It is very much so the feminine energy, very much so the yin energy. So we are going to talk a little bit how that can work to your benefit while you're living in your divine feminine. Specifically, today's topic is how passive income loves the divine feminine. 9 hard work concepts that inspire rather than tire the divine feminine. So we are here for purpose work. We are here for passion work. We are not here to be worn out and to be tired. Like I'm so over it. I'm sure a lot of my divine femmes are feeling the same way. Y'all, we don't need to be tired out here, even though this society has told us. Today we're gonna get into the truths and the myths about hard work. Like, what do you guys feel about hard work? I know that growing up, even now to this day, I don't love the word or the words or the phrase hard work. I'm good on it, you know what I mean? It just doesn't align with my energy, with my frequency, you know what I mean? And I think when people hear women say that, or even when women are speaking it out their mouths, that they don't want to work hard, I think people misinterpret that as us not wanting to pursue our passions and not wanting to live vibrant lives and not wanting, just wanting someone to sustain it for us, when it's like we can still have all these things and still be operating in our feminine. And manifesting is, it takes two. It takes the masculine and feminine energy to manifest. But it's inherent to the feminine. We are birthing, we have a womb. So that is very important to acknowledge. So in essence, today I'm going to be giving life hacks for the divine feminine in particularly, but not exclusive to, in manifesting the life that you are envisioning, your ideal life, and doing that with passive income. So this is not a financial talk, okay? This is an energetic, spiritual conversation that also has logical things behind it, because like I said, it takes the masculine and the feminine energy, the yang and the yin, to manifest, okay? Questions we will be answering in this segment. Does life require hard work? Question mark. I really want to know. That's why people have so much anger towards the divine feminine when she's up and she's making passive income off of things that she's not necessarily working hard for. You know what I mean? Or is hard work just a low vibrational way of describing how you pursue your goal or your passion or your purpose? And is it a low vibrational way for describing what I'm about to tell you in this video? Is hard work helpful to the divine feminine? What the divine feminine needs to know about hard work to create passive income? And what do I wish I would have known as a divine feminine growing up? Traits that create passive income is going to be the main kind of topic that we're talking about. And also, I'm going to give you guys some gems about meditation. I am going to make a separate video about meditation, but we are going to answer the question of how meditation is very similar to life and actually helps us practice life and how to deprogram from toxic associations of hard work. So, with no further ado, let's get to it. About a month ago, probably now, I was sitting in the car that I manifested. Yes, babes. I was sitting in that car and I was just kind of reflecting on what hard work means to me and what I've had to deprogram and reprogram about hard work, because I've had so many negative connotations around hard work, and everyone's telling you need to work hard and just put your head down and right? And so I was really kind of just having a moment of revelation with hard work and what that really means to me. That kind of manifested the product of my first podcast that I posted, which you can go watch. But if you're watching this video, you're mostly covered, but it does give you a little bit more insight about myself. Personally, I hate the term hard work. Pretty much hate it. Is because it doesn't give you a to B plan. It really doesn't give you any tangible, in manifesting, it takes feminine energy. And so we're kind of negating this whole side that hard work encompasses, that includes femininity and needs femininity to actually manifest. I decided that there's too many negative connotations I have with hard work. And it's not specific enough for me, right? I always viewed hard work as a masculine thing, and I think I've never been drawn to being masculine, at least consciously. I think that subconsciously there were a lot of things, that I had to deprogram from. My energy just isn't in flow with that whole masculine mindset of living, but I always was attracted to passive income and making passive income, not just because that's what everyone wants, but because I think my soul was just really in alignment with that, and I wasn't understanding what that was, obviously at a younger age, but I just remember always trying to emulate that masculine energy. Today, I predominantly reside in my feminine energy. I love it here. I love it here. I think that to have a healed feminine, you definitely have to have a healed masculine. It's super important as a feminine being, but as far as how I show up in the world is very feminine, and I use my femininity to my advantage. I lean into my femininity. Okay, just so we're clear. Okay. I am obviously not keen to working hard, but let me know how you feel in the comments. Let me know after you watch the video if these traits that I kind of map out and break down for you all, if they kind of align with your ideals of hard work, or if it's a little different for you. And if you lead in your feminine energy when you're working hard, or do you feel like that's a purely masculine thing? The definition of hard work is a great deal of effort and endurance. And to that definition, I agree with hard work. You do need effort and you do need endurance. A great deal, I feel like quality over quantity is what the feminine is giving. You know what I mean? I do agree with this definition. I think life does require hard work according to this definition, absolutely unhelpful. Effort and endurance, what does that really look like? And what does it require? Most importantly, what does effort and endurance require, especially in maintaining your divine femininity? And if that's what you're trying to lead with, what does that really look like, and what does that require? Now, personally, I feel like the feminine works hard for purpose and passion, and not regularly money. So I'm not saying that women don't work for money. I'm saying the feminine energy does not work for materialisms, money. Feminine energy goes with the heart and works in alignment with passion and purpose. Here are some 9 ways that the feminine energy shows or knows how to fulfill purpose. Next time, I'm gonna have my second phone. It's preoccupied right now, but I'm gonna have my second phone to be reading off in front of you guys, because I feel so bad not giving my energy forward in front. But like I said, it is what it is for this time, okay? Please don't bear with me, because this is a luxurious experience, okay? But just know I'm here. I'm here with you. I'm here with you, boo. These 9 traits include perseverance in facing yourself, facing your truth, and being honest with yourself, aka shadow work. Woo! Yeah, we love shadow work, okay? We love shadow work. We don't love it while it's happening, but afterwards we love it, okay? 2, patience. The divine feminine stays with patience, okay? Like, there's no question around it. Like, the divine feminine is patient, okay? And I know it's hard, but goddess, we gotta work on our patience if we want to align with our divine feminine energy. Number 3, focus, right? We can agree with that, right? And don't worry, you guys, I'm gonna break all of these down later in the video, okay? Number 4, mindfulness, okay? And mindfulness comes with awareness. So that's just kind of one that's kind of a sub to mindfulness, because you do need awareness as well to be successful and to manifest freely. Number 5, persistence. And not just persistence in not tapping out and not giving up. And that's super important, obviously. You know how many times I tapped out of my purpose, but you know how many times I tap back in? A lot, y'all. A lot. Number 6, discipline / self-discipline, okay? I have this little tat on my arm. Let's see if it'll focus. I take a picture of it and slide it in. But it says, discipline is love in French. So it says la discipline c'est l'amour. And discipline, really, when you get into that self-love journey, you really realize how much discipline is love. And honestly, I'm still battling with that one. That's why I have it tatted on me. That's why it's a daily reminder for me, okay? So, I think we are on 7. Number 7 is grace. There might be more than 8 on this list. There's 10 on the list. There's 10. I'm really giving y'all the gems today, okay? So number 7 is grace. We will talk more about that later. Okay, number 8 is letting play, creation, visualization, and relaxation manifest for you, synergize and manifest for you. And in essence, this is what manifesting is. This is exercising your subconscious. I do have a whole course that you can sign up for that entails aligning your subconscious with your conscious goals, but we're gonna talk about that later. Number 9, the practice of meditation. I think that you don't have to do this to be successful. I think success comes to you easier when you are doing this thing, which in essence is all of this list. I mean, some of them are like mandatory. If you want to be operating in your feminine energy, there's certain things that you do that kind of replace having to go out and get it. You know, because things are drawn to you. That's definitely a meditation thing, because when you're in alignment with yourself, you can align a lot of things because you're just much clearer. You can spot energies. Hey, you need to come with me. People can spot you because you're clear on your energy and you're just very direct in your essence, and people are like, ooh, you would vibe with me, come with me, you know. So it's very like things are in alignment, but we'll talk about that more later. The last one that I'm just gonna free flow into the list is uncomfortability. So uncomfortability, I didn't say discomfort because I don't think you have to, we're gonna free flow. We're gonna free flow on this at the end. We are going to get into the first topic, which is perseverance in facing yourself, facing your truth, and being honest with yourself. In other words, shadow work. Yeah. Don't we just love that shadow side, okay? I love my shadow side, okay? I am learning to work with her, to flow with her, to give her the support that she needs. To not be so, to not be fiending for things outside of us, okay? Because I am feeding her. I won't say she's a monster, you know what I mean? I don't like the term feeding the little monster. Like, no, she's not a monster. She's just misunderstood, okay? She's just misunderstood. And you understand her the best because she is you. What? That's a word. I looked up the definition of shadow work on Better Up. So the definition that they gave me was working with your unconscious mind to uncover the parts of yourself that you repress and hide from yourself. Yes, we are doing that work. Let's just talk about the benefits of shadow work. Obviously, number one, builds awareness. Awareness of yourself because you're facing yourself. It probably builds brain power and molecule power because a lot of it is just thinking. Like, just really like deep thinking about life and your upbringing and what really makes you you, and why do you react this way, and why do you feel this way about things, and why do you feel like you can't do this, and why do you feel so empowered, even sometimes to do this, and why do you feel like you need attention in this type of way. And it's a lot of but once you get in there, you really kind of make like your subconscious, once you get in there, your subconscious just automatically goes there. You know what I mean? That's why when you start doing things like shadow work, it's hard to hang out with certain people. You know what I mean? I think once you get past a certain level of your healing, you can be around anyone. Because it's just you're so comfortable with yourself, you don't really ever have to catch yourself, you know what I mean? But at the same time, I think that especially when you're in the thick of your healing, you can't be hanging around just anyone because people are so unaware and you are aware at this point. Yeah, I would say awareness. Second, I would say it really builds courage and character. I would say character too, because first of all, courage, because you're facing yourself and you're not running away from yourself, right? Like most people do. Our trauma responses kind of teach us to do in different ways, right? We have the fight, we have the flight, nothing is really just facing. And then we also have freeze mode, that one's always fun because you can never tell when it's happening. People just think that you're slow or dumb or something, and it's just no. I've actually been through a lot of trauma, and I'm probably 5 times my age because I've been through so much trauma. But anyways, that's a story for another day. But we have all these modes, and nothing really promotes us in those fight or flight situations or freeze situations to just face ourselves. And that's for a reason, you know what I mean? Because our subconscious is trying to protect us, and we give gratitude for that. But we are adults, when we are goddesses at that. We are not giving space for that, okay? We are giving space for facing ourselves and healing. That's the only true way that you can heal, is when you do shadow work and you face yourself. We have awareness, we have courage, we have character. So character, you're just gonna be a way more interesting person, first of all, because you're so aware, and so you have depth to yourself. You've also done some hard shit, because shadow work is not easy. Shadow work brings a lot of things up in you that you can't control. And I would say, like, it just brings up all your subconscious shit and gook and all that. It a lot of times brings body trauma. I know it did that for me personally, because our body remembers more than our brain. Like, our brain has these kind of like fight flight things or whatever that it uses to protect itself. Our body doesn't really have that. Like, yes, we have our nervous system. I don't really know the science of it, but I just know that our body remembers, even generationally, you know? So maybe that could be a topic for another day. Let me know in the comments. All of those things, along with when you're building your awareness, you are able to spot out your triggers, okay? Not gonna really, I don't think like there's a difference between knowing your triggers and being able to respond effectively to your triggers. And this is also part of the process of shadow work, and why it's a process, it's a journey. Each time that you kind of get deeper into the journey, you have to face yourself once again and say, I'm okay with who I am right now, because that's the only way that you can face yourself and move forward, is acceptance. So acceptance is also a part of shadow work. But every day you have to kind of go with the flow, and you have to invite the fact that this is an experience that you have to be present for. So the amount of endurance, effort that you are taught through this experience is daily and is a lot. Like, shadow work, I feel like that's one of the hardest things that you can do in life, and that's one of the reasons why a lot of people don't. Like, really and truly. So it kind of falls right into that whole hard work thing. The feminine is always going in, within. So I think shadow work is a really good way to build up that endurance and build up that effort, being able to handle situations that require those things. Shadow work is also going to really help with, gravitating success, because you're comfortable and you're secure. So no one can come to you with your bullshit without you already knowing that about yourself. And whether you react accordingly in the moment or not doesn't really matter, because it's better than how you would have reacted or responded if you were unaware of this, okay? So I'll give you an example. I am kind of moving through some heavy shadow work right now. I mentioned at the beginning of the video that I'm experiencing a lot of dissociation. we're not gonna get into that too much. But so I'm in a thick part of my healing journey, which is amazing. It's beautiful. But I had someone recently call me out on some bullshit. I know I didn't respond correctly, at least the first time. She confronted me about my bullshit, which, you know, mind you, she has zero context of what is going on in my life. Mind you, she doesn't need to know. It's not her responsibility to know. It's not my responsibility to tell her, you know, it's just dots, you know, it's like if you know type energy. She came to me basically letting me know about something that I've already completely like come to terms with, and even in that have been shifting and really moving into a better space with it. But in this particular week, I was very out of sorts, dealing with something that I've never dealt with on this extreme level, right? And so with her having no context, with me just being all over the place in this instance, she's like calling me on my bullshit like direct. Mind you, she's another healer, which I completely respect her platform even more for this now. But in essence, I was supposed to show up on time to an appointment that I had rescheduled multiple times. She put up a boundary and she's like, you know what? I think you're not ready for this. Right? And, you know, initially it was triggering. It kind of triggered all my affirmations of worthiness in that moment. And I was like, girl, if you only knew what I had to deal with this week, you would have more grace for me. But like I said, it's not her problem. I was just like, oh yeah, no worries, like, have a great rest of your day then, you know? I was fast forwarding the process. I was triggered. I knew I was triggered, right? A part of me also was feeling like I need to prove myself. But then my other half, my healed half, was like, girl, you don't need to prove anything. You need to actually accept this moment. But instead of being more human and kind of showing her my processes and being a little bit more vulnerable, I just went from no worries, shut it down. You know what I mean? I could have used it as an opportunity to lean in and say, I think I text the little number after because I was just like, you know, this is just for me. Even if she reads it and she's just like, this gal. You know what I mean? But it was for me because it was how I wanted to respond, which was, you know what? You are absolutely right. I have been struggling with this. I have been working on it as well. I know that's not your issue, and I hope I haven't wasted too many of your moments today, and I hope you have a divine day. I don't know, maybe I could have got the session back from that. Who knows? I was definitely triggered, and you'll have moments like that in your shadow work when you're seeing yourself in real time. And I was just like, man, this woman, she knows I'm a healer. She probably is like, this girl is just all over the place. And in that moment, I also had to have grace for myself. To know, like, to really just empathize with myself, because at the time I'm dissociating, right? So I'm not even in, you know, contact with my body's not even in contact with my spiritual being. And so I really had to give myself grace and say, you know, you are going through this thing. You know, she knows nothing about this thing, and that's okay. You can affirm your experience right now, but you also don't have to be like rude or like weird. It was more of a weird thing. I don't think I was being rude. It was more of just like, okay, girl, like, don't face yourself then, you know what I mean? I think I've talked enough about this. Our affirmation for shadow work is I face myself daily, acknowledging the totality, duality, and dynamics within my fullest essence. Yes. Okay, on to the next topic. Number 2, patience. Yes. So patience is the capacity, according to the Oxford Dictionary, okay? Patience is the capacity to accept or tolerate delay, trouble, or suffering without getting angry or upset. And really, I would shorten that definition to just accepting delayed gratification. Because it doesn't, we don't need patience just for things that are unpleasant. We need patience for a lot of the things that we would consider very pleasant, once they're there, the journey, right? The journey in getting there. So that's one of the reasons patience is so important, is being able to hold that vision in our minds, knowing that it's coming. Patience goes along with shadow work because we have to be okay with sitting with ourselves, and even just on a broader spectrum of life, just living with ourselves, enjoying our experience along the journey to our goals, to our purpose, to our passions. Patience affirms things like faith and self-trust and intuition. You're not just being patient for no reason, right? Patience isn't passive, it's very active, you know what I mean? Because to be patient, you have to have faith in the goal. You have to have self-trust that you're gonna get there. And you have to have intuition that you are being guided and you are on the right path, no matter where it may take you. Yeah, I just don't think anyone has patience for no reason. We have to know as humans that there's a reward, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. And so it really just is kind of like a form of faith in the everyday moments, in every second, right? In your breath. Just having patience. Patience is almost like the opposite of anxiety. And that delayed satisfaction is very important because I think we find when people are just going for the satisfaction, they get to sit down and eat at the table and be satisfied, and after they're done with their meal, they realize they just want more. They're just more hungry. You know what I mean? Because they didn't enjoy making the dish, really putting love into the dish, the experience of who they got to make the dish with. It's also a very divine feminine quality, because the divine feminine, like I said, with the shadow work, goes inward, and going inward always requires patience. So that's a very feminine trait. Patience, I definitely think, explores endurance and explores effort to a certain extent. I think a lot of these things, once it's programmed, it doesn't take so much effort, and that's where we kind of come across the passive, the passiveness of the conversation, passive income, passive habits, you know what I mean? But initially, patience does take a lot of effort until it becomes into your way of being. It definitely takes endurance. So, are we seeing how hard work is in all of these feminine traits, in all of these feminine qualities? I really just want us to simmer and how much endurance the divine feminine has, and also how much effort it plants or it sows to get that plant that's growing passively, right? Yeah. So our affirmation for patience is, are you ready? The universe and source are my affirming protectors. I am ready, in alignment for what is mine, knowing it will not miss me, honey. Hey. I'm thinking of a word. Divine being. Yes, divine being. On to our third moment, focus. So focus, according to the Oxford Dictionary, is paying particular attention to. Okay? This goes hand in hand with actually my meditation point that I have. So it really goes hand in hand with meditation, because meditation is a practice of redirecting your attention to your intended focus. So I think focus is pretty clear, yeah? Like focus, we don't really need to explain. I mean, the definition really explains it. And if we talk about like how to focus, that's kind of what I'm going to be talking about in the meditation portion. Redirecting your focus is very, very important. We basically do it all throughout our day. Yeah, we're going to talk about that more later. But I will say that focus takes effort, just like I said, kind of initially. And then endurance. I guess, yeah, like it takes endurance, because depending on how long you need to focus, right? Focus could vary. You could be needing to focus for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour, freaking a year, maybe you need to focus on something. So yes, it does. I think it takes an effort mostly in your ability to switch. So like when it's time to switch your focus, like let's say you're just engulfed like in this book, you're just like, oh, I'm loving this book, da 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 da, but you set your alarm to work out, like, and so it's like switching that focus, I think, is one of the most effortful things that is a part of focus as a whole. It's hard to say if that's a feminine or masculine quality. I think that it could be both. I think that in the feminine, it really does center on that being able to switch your focus, because the feminine is very multifaceted and very kind of always multi-focused, right? Which I don't think there's an issue with that. People try to tell you to focus on one thing, and I really think it just depends on the person. I mean, I would almost say it just depends on the energy, but I really don't know that for a fact. You know what I mean? I don't know for a fact, but if I would have had to guess, I would say majority of feminines are really focused on a lot of different things. And I think just in this world and the feminine energy that's within this world and space and time right now, everyone is focused on a million things. Everyone's focused on passive income. That's why I said this video is not exclusive to feminine energies, because I feel like everyone can hone in on their feminine. And you know, a lot of you divine masculines, you know, if you hone on your feminine energy, on that inner feminine, you're able to show up more masculine in the world. So, but yeah, I think kind of the masculine version of focus is like kind of that endurance piece of like just really like I'm focused, you know. And then the feminine is just very like able to just like when you're like, because focus, I think where we go wrong in our feminine energy sometimes, let's say not tangibly, but just for the world that we live in, we are automatically not able to be in our feminine energy as much as we would like, because of the way things are set up in this earth. Like, we're not, every woman is not protected and provided for, which that, is a whole nother conversation. But I think we can agree that the feminine energy needs a safe space to flourish and be wild and be, just be all over the place, you know what I mean? And so because we don't have much of that, not that we don't have much of it, but it's not, it's sometimes not automatic. It's sometimes not provided for us, because we are in the workforce and we are working people. But I think that in the masculine essence, it's just very kind of, really focused. And I think on the feminine essence, we still have to use that same amount of focus. But then we're heavily focused on this. And then when it comes time, we're heavily focused on this. And there's no, like, I don't really believe in focusing on one thing, focusing on more than one thing at once. I know we do it all the time in life, but I think focus is would autonomous be the right word? I think it's like one thing. Like, I think that's the point of focus, right? It's one thing. So whether you are doing one thing and you branch a bunch of things under one thing, that's often how passive income comes. I think that's very feminine. And that ability to redirect your focus very quickly is a skill. To be intensely focused on something and then able to get out of that and be intensely focused on another thing and get out of that exactly, on kind of in aligned timing when you need to, is a skill, and I think it's feminine. The affirmation for focus is, I am present in my focus. I am in direct control of what I focus on. I am in direct control of what I focus on. I think in a society when we are always being told what to focus on, it is so important to remember that. So I love that. Okay, on to the next. Mindfulness. Yes, we need this. So like I was saying, mindfulness comes with awareness. Mindfulness is a byproduct of a lot of things. I think all of the things we listed, focus, patience, and shadow work, all of those things kind of help you with mindfulness. I think mindfulness also comes as a byproduct of meditation. Mindfulness, I don't think it's feminine or masculine. I think mindfulness is just mindfulness. But I think mindfulness can help you hone your femininity along with the feminine kind of going inward, right? We build up that awareness, but we build up that mindfulness around who we are and how we learn and who we want to be and what self-satisfaction looks like. And the standard that we have for ourselves that makes us feel most in alignment and again with that self-satisfied energy. And I think self-satisfaction is very, very important for success because we've talked a lot about the journey today, and being along the journey, you have to hold on to your vibrancy, you have to hold on to your essence, you have to hold on to your joy. Those are all very, like, you know, feminine, just like things. You know, when you want things to be attracted to you, you have to know what you want, and you not only have to know what you want, but you have to do what you want, because that's how energies can recognize you. Because you're distinct in your energy, but also you're calling forth kind of what you want. And people who are in that same realm or on that same wave, on that same frequency, they're gonna be like, I want you because you align with everything that I am, you know? Yeah, mindfulness is a great thing for any human to have, to encompass, but it's definitely a way to fulfill that endurance, because you're, like I said, you're enjoying the journey. And then effort, I think mindfulness makes things effortless, because you know what's aligned for you, you know what's not. Like I said, opportunities and people and experiences can recognize you better, know that that's what you want, because you're mindful of and aware of who you are. And so that's like what you're advertising. And that advertisement is in alignment rather than misalignment with your genuine and authentic self. I really like that synopsis. Mindfulness is super attractive. Our affirmation for mindfulness is, when I am alone, I spend quality time with self, allowing myself to observe and understand my intrinsic needs, wants, and desires. Yes. Ooh, I love that one. That one just feels good. Your alone time really helps you to hone in the energy that you want when you are allowing people to come into your space, when you are going into other space. It's really divine for that. Next topic is persistence. Persistence of not tapping out or giving up. Oh, yeah. Persistence is a practice. I would start with small things that you could be persistent with. That builds up self-trust so that you can be persistent with bigger things. Like, how is persistence different from consistency? Let's just look it up. Consistency is kind of more so talking about the time increments, and persistence is just kind of talking about the continuance. So not necessarily a time about it, but just kind of whenever an opportunity comes up, you're just still going along the course. It's like a continual thing. Persistence goes hand in hand with mindfulness for me. Like we said, it allows you to incubate and nurture what it is that you want, and really embody that thing to gravitate back to you everything that you desire. When you are mindful of what gives you personal satisfaction, it helps you, like we said, endure. It helps you be persistent, and it also helps you remain peaceful in the face of challenges or redirection or rejection. Recognize these scenarios as just not divine alignment, because if you're being persistent, if you're being mindful, that means you're in alignment. And so anything that's not working out, you know that it's just not aligned, it's not divine, it's not the right time. But that persistence to like keep going anyway, that you will run into what is aligned and what is divine. Even if those things kind of look similar, you know, that rejection and redirection is really like your saving grace. And you look at it that way because you're like, I'm doing all the right things. You know, I have all the right messages. You know, I'm giving out what I want to receive. Then it's really kind of only like, well, you're just being redirected. Persistence does take endurance, and it does take effort, for sure, because it's like a continuous thing. It's like a continuous thing that you have to do. And honestly, I think persistence is a little bit more masculine energy, but like I said, we do need those masculine qualities to manifest. Oh, I love this one. Okay. I can't wait until I can memorize all of these. Because it's just like, I just wish I could be like looking into your soul while this is happening. The affirmation for persistence is, divinity also comes in the form of challenges, rejection, opposition, and redirection. I am unafraid to be challenged. I am always receiving and always being guided. Yes, divine being. Alright, okay, on to the next topic. The next one is self-discipline / discipline. I think we all grow up with the term discipline being so crazy like to us. Once you experience self-discipline, I think it's a whole nother story. It's like such a beautiful journey. Like I said, I got it tatted, okay? So la discipline sí es l'amor. Like, discipline is really love, like self-love too. Like, it really is when you get on this journey and you realizing that you've been programmed by all these things, like all these just like like all these things that are not your own, you know what I mean? And you're learning kind of other people's self-debilitating habits, and you're learning all this toxicity, like really, because honestly, I don't know if self-love is that hard if you haven't like grown up in a space where you didn't do it from the beginning. But I don't think we'll ever know, because it's like everyone has been formed by an entity outside of themselves, which is very helpful. But it's also like, I think everyone has trauma on varying degrees. Obviously, the least trauma you have, I think the easier it is to self-love. Good news, even if you have trauma, you are able to self-love, you are able to self-heal, you are able to rest in your divine feminine, be a goddess. It kind of follows the whole self-satisfaction and builds self-trust. So a lot of people have a vision of self-love that is a lot of acts or a lot of doing, which is amazing and divine and needed, and is a part of it for sure. Some of the greatest self-love will be like battles that you have internally. You end up deciding to do what's best for you, even though you have this pull to do this other thing. You decide to do what's actually beneficial for your soul. That's like actually more along the lines of like what self-love is. Because, you know, I would learn, like, there would be certain things that I would want to do, like, you know, I want to, like, have a bath today, or I want to, like, you know, have a yoni time, or I want to have a foot massage today. But, you know, the way that this world is set up, is we have to buy things and we have to plan things. Sometimes those things may not be as accessible as we would like them to. Not because they're just not accessible, but just because timing of certain things sometimes is just not the right time. So I'm not telling you to go blow your last $100 or whatever and go get a pedicure, go get your foot massage or whatever. Like, the greatest self-care that you can do within, and those are usually the hardest. And then also it comes to like self-care, like stuff that you can do on your own, but like sometimes you just feel you're tired. But like just pushing through and doing those things anyway. Like, self-care oftentimes is just very glamorized and romanticized, which that version of it we like. Yes, we love it. But also the other version is very necessary, very real, and very needed. We can't negate like what true self-love really is. And a lot of times self-love is too just like in our decisions that we make. Maybe decisions that other people would make, but they just don't align with us. And that's a part of that mindfulness and that inner knowing and that self-satisfaction. Knowing what satisfies self, knowing what satisfies your soul, and going about things that way rather than what works for every other divine feminine that you know or whatever. Real love comes with boundaries, and that boundaries come with discipline. That is hard. Yeah, it's challenging. Let's say that. I like challenging better than hard, okay? Boundaries come with discipline. And discipline is and boundaries is what tells you that something is real love. If you have love with somebody and there's no boundaries in the relationship, that is not love, that is toxic, that is attachment, right? And the same thing goes for yourself. You can't love yourself without boundaries. You need boundaries. And this is the thing, is that some people love without boundaries, and that's why they don't want to love anymore. Because they're like, oh, it's this painful thing, da, da, da. And yes, sometimes we do get hurt, and sometimes things are painful to face. But a lot of the time, you're just not setting up the right boundaries. So note to self, when someone sets boundaries with you, they probably love you. And if they don't love you, they love you a little bit more than that person who sets no boundaries with you. Boundaries require discipline. And that's why a lot of people have these boundaries that they really never use, because they have no discipline. And so it's that's why a lot of women will find themselves in situations where they'll be telling men all their boundaries and da-da-da-da. And these men, it just be in one ear and out the other. They're not worried about it, because half of us won't even uphold the boundaries that we claim that we're so committed to, because we don't have discipline. And discipline goes past what you want to do or what feels good. A lot of the time, discipline does not feel good, at least in the moment. Discipline usually feels good after the fact. So again, with the patience, again with the delayed gratification, they all go hand in hand. And then I also, as my writer self, I put in a quote that said, most people think they want to lose all control, when in actuality they just want to control themselves. So discipline, divine discipline, that's why divine discipline is love, because divine discipline allows you to control yourself. And that's why self-discipline is also great for interpersonal relationships. If you can't discipline yourself, but you trying to love somebody else, what happens when somebody else's boundary or somebody else's protection or somebody else's whatever comes in between you and your lack of self-discipline. You're going to choose the lack of self-discipline because it just is what it is. Discipline is a practice, just like love is a practice or an action. You can think about it this way. The same satisfaction that you gain from being undisciplined in a temporary moment is the same satisfaction that you gain from being disciplined in a long term. You are getting the same satisfaction, but it's just like, how long can you delay it? How long will you stand in your morals and your boundaries? And all of these words that we feel like sound hard, but they are just discipline. I could just go on and on and on about this topic because it really just changes your life. You really have less experiences. That source is teaching you a lesson because you are remaining disciplined. No, it doesn't mean that you're perfect. Doesn't mean, and you're not aiming to be perfect. Like, we never said anything about perfection, okay? We just said that you would decide who you are rather than letting other people decide who you are, letting your traumas decide who you are, your abusers decide who you are, your neglecting parents decide who you are. Self-discipline gives you back control. We just always want to make sure, like with our self-love, and I've been using self-discipline because I truly feel like self-discipline is the same as self-love. Sometimes we use our self-love as a cop-out for our true self-love, which is self-discipline. You may have goals for something, and because you feel you need a break, you're gonna be like, let me give myself some self-love, some da-da-da. You know, society really encourages that type of thinking, which, you know, you have to use your discernment to whether that's accurate or not. Should you really give yourself a break? Or really, have you been giving yourself breaks, like, you know, way too often, and now you're just undisciplined? The affirmation, or wait, no, we gotta tie it in, we gotta lock it in. So self-discipline definitely takes effort, a lot of effort. Sorry y'all, is this discouraging? No, it doesn't. It takes effort for a good amount of time, so it takes a lot of endurance, because you're really just reprogramming yourself to love yourself, and in the end that's always going to be magical and worth it. So it's very challenging. It is. I'm not gonna lie, y'all, it's very challenging. And you know you've been working on it, you know. The self-discipline, it's a masculine for sure. It's a masculine trait for sure. But like I said, I keep going onto this yin-yang type energy, and it's like, if you want to be a divine feminine in energy, you want your energy to flow in that way, you're going to need some self-discipline, because if there's nothing grounding our energy, we're just chaotic. We're not wild and flourishing in all these different avenues and areas of life. No, we're just chaotic. We're all twisted up, you know, can't grow because everything's all twisted and caught up on one another. Yeah, that's what I will say about self-discipline. And the affirmation for self-love, aka self-discipline: discernment, boundaries, and discipline allow me to flow out of an open and full heart. Yes, divine being. Grace, according to the Oxford Dictionary, is free and unmerited favor. Okay? I'm getting lit some grace. This is favor without any expectations. It's favor without any judgment. It's free. When do we ever get anything free? I mean, well, if you're a divine feminine, I mean. But because your spirit offers this grace, you know, I would say, I mean, it's like a trade for trade. Grace is extremely crucial to the journey and to success, because we're removing our focus from what we did wrong to what we can do better. Really just forgiving ourselves of anything that we may have done wrong. And forgiveness is super important in our journey because it's like grace implies forgiveness, right? And without forgiveness, we're just kind of like stuck. Like we're still stuck on something. We're still stuck on that energy, that old past energy. That's cool and all to like remember, you know, to know how something made you feel. To not forgive it is like we're committed at that point to being stuck in that place and to being stagnant. It's super important to give yourself grace so that you can forgive, and to give others grace also on the journey so you can forgive them as well, because sometimes people need to be forgiven and you move on, you move joyfully into the sunset, and sometimes forgiveness will also allow you to leave them where they're at, keep them from holding you back to where you're actually going without them. Grace is not ignoring the problem or ignoring a problem. Grace is acknowledging the problem, accepting the problem, and choosing to believe that there's still potential and prosperity in this space. And it's also just an acknowledgement of your humanness and knowing that there's going to be mistakes along the way. Like, nothing's gonna be perfect. Grace, I feel like a lot of the time is for yourself when it comes to success, but I also feel like, you know, certain people that it's like if you can still see their potential to and I'm not saying this doesn't come with boundaries, you know what I mean? Like, grace has nothing really at all to do with boundaries or standards or anything of that nature. Like, you can still have all those things and still have grace. Like, if someone really tries it, then you treat them accordingly. You have your boundaries accordingly to how they have proven themselves to be. With that being said, you can still forgive them, and usually more easily you can forgive them if you have boundaries. You could have grace for someone sometime during your journey, and because a lot of people don't have grace like for other people because they don't have it for themselves, they will really remember you like when you give them grace. You know, who knows, you may run into them into the future, and because they remember that you did that for them, they have an opportunity to present you with, you know what I mean? If nothing else, you get to move on from the situation and progress where you're progressing, you know? I think grace is definitely like a feminine, kind of like a feminine quality. Not to say men don't have grace. Like I said earlier in the video, like, I think you need to really hone in on your feminine qualities. If you're watching this and you're masculine energy, there needs to be something like, almost I like to think of it as a little muse, like a small little muse, like in your being in your essence that inspires you to show up in the world in your masculine energy. The affirmation for grace is, I trust and prepare for myself to be human. I trust and prepare for myself to be human. Add grace to our schedule. That's one tangible thing. Not overbooking, not overexerting ourselves, giving us grace along the journey, knowing that we are going to be human, so things aren't going to go perfectly, giving us room to mess up, to make mistakes, and to still be successful. Self-care through play, creation, visualization, relaxation, meditation, okay? This right here is an energy of manifesting, exercising your subconscious. So this is really getting back to your inner self, getting back to your child self, letting your subconscious play, like letting things play out, letting it manifest. This is where you're activating your subconscious and your authentic self, and you're present in yourself, and you're experiencing yourself, you're experiencing joy and what that feels like in your body. Clearly, this is a feminine energy thing, like presence. Yum. It's such a beautiful quality to have. Joy and play and creation and visualization, relaxation, all of these things help you activate, that energy of just being really present, being in your body, not being too much in your head, being free flowing. And we need that break, okay? We need that break from our mind. So the ideal time to be in this energy is after you have done all the root chakra work, after you have done all of the planning, and you're just kind of in a space of like releasing energy and just being in your body and wanting to rejuvenate yourself after all that hard work. But like we said earlier, it's just work that takes a little bit of focus, patience, grace, all the good things that we listed prior. And that is challenging. This is your time to just kind of like be free. Be back to your childhood person. What did you like to do in your childhood? Did you like to dress up? Did you like to sing? Did you like to dance? Did you like to write poetry? Did you like to play in the dirt? What was your vibe? Like, that's the vibe that you're kind of getting back to, because this vibe is going to manifest your most authentic self. And your most authentic self allows you to gravitate whatever is meant for you quicker, whatever is yours quicker, whatever aligns with you divinely. Doing these things, it is a practice or an intuitive practice, guiding you back to yourself. So, there's really no rules involved in this one. This is the one where you can let your feminine just go free. Like, this is the one that you can let your dark feminine show up as well. This is just where you just let it go. You let it go. All that wild energy that you haven't been able to really express, like, in a wild way, you just let it go. Just let it go. This is where you can really just be your fullest self, be creative, and just play, and also play with the new iteration of yourself, like you've been putting in the work with your self-discipline and your self-care and your grace and your patience and your shadow work. So this is the time to really just kind of also explore this new iteration of yourself that has gained more knowledge, that has a better knowing of self, and explore even more. You know what I mean? Get to know yourself even more. and share that self with others that are around you. That's really a fun part of it too, being able to bounce your energy more off and being in more aligned frequencies, taking advantage of that. The fact that you know yourself better, so and you're mindful of who you are and what you're putting out to the world, and so more aligned people are coming into your life, and you're able to be secure and be free in who you are because you've learned so many different things about yourself. No one can tell you about who you are because you already know. You already know. So this is when play gets really, really fun. This is when creation gets really, really fun. And it's really just, like I said, self-care, like nurturing your soul. Really just caring for the soul and caring for the essence that is you. So self-gratifying. Really, like, I feel like a major key to success. I talk more about this in my personal client services, aligning your subconscious with your conscious mind to manifest your ideal reality. So if that interests you, definitely tap in. The affirmation is, on my purpose journey, I allow my focus to wander into play, relaxation, visualization, and creation whenever I feel guided towards rejuvenation. Yes, divine being. Yes. So we are getting there. We are getting down there, okay? I hope you guys have been enjoying this video. Definitely like, definitely subscribe. Leave me some comments, leave me some feedback. I've been playing like with, apps to edit videos and like the camera that I'm using. Let me know if you guys like the quality. Let me know if you guys have any tips. Like, I'm a new YouTuber. I'm receiving of all of these great ideas and creativity that you guys have coming my way. Yeah, the last thing that I'm going to talk about is, or second to last thing that I'm going to talk about is meditation. So like I mentioned earlier, meditation is the practice of directing your attention and focus towards a specific intention, or like specifically earlier, because I was like, I'm realizing now I'm reading that, it sounds a little confusing, but meditation is the practice of redirecting your focus, period. Period is just the practice of redirecting your focus. So redirecting it to where you want to be, letting your mind wander and coming back. I will be creating like a whole video on this, so I don't really want to get too much into it. If you want a video about this, just comment down below like meditation. Like, yeah, let's get a meditation video, and I'll definitely make that. It's kind of already in the process, but if you did want to go to my first podcast video, I did talk about meditation. Yeah, I did go kind of deep in that one. It's just kind of later in the video. It's a very short video though, it's like 14 minutes. And, but I just kind of wanted to make another video that was just purely that, so that you guys can just always come back to it, and kind of like, if you're having issues with like learning how to meditate, you can always come back to that, because I know it was the learning curve. It was the learning curve, and it took grace and patience. Look at that full circle moment. Yes. So the affirmation for meditation is, I control where I redirect my focus. I control where I I control where I redirect my focus. I control where I redirect my focus. I control where I redirect my focus. And that's so important for us to just really ingrain in our subconscious, because everything in this universe is telling us, or is begging for our attention, right? Especially as, a high vibrationally energetic goddess, everything is always calling for our attention. And so you have to practice redirecting your attention. You have to practice choosing what your attention goes to, because attention pays, and you know it is paid also. So you need to make sure that you're very intentional about where and who and what you are giving your attention to. Meditation is not a feminine or masculine. Like, everyone needs to meditate. Like, and even through all of everything that I listed today, even when I pointed out like the type of energy it was, I did point out that it's crucial for both masculine and feminine energies to partake, you know, at probably at different degrees, you know what I mean? Meditation, everyone should meditate. Babies, maybe not babies, but babies naturally, pretty much the way that they breathe, they are meditating. But like toddlers, I seen this beautiful video of this man talking about how his toddler used to, like, it was a video, so he was showing it was like a time capsule, and he was showing how his toddler was so just disturbed and crying all the time, anxious, anxiety, you know, like, you know how toddlers just be crying, and instead of doing things that would be a lot easier, he taught his toddler how to meditate. And once I learned how to put videos in here, but oh god, it's gonna be off, but he taught his toddler how to meditate, and by like the age of 2 or something, his toddler was meditating by himself. The toddler was teaching like the 1-year-old, or like the couple, I forget how old, it was like a baby, like a 1-year-old. He's teaching his little sibling how to meditate. And I'm sure it was easier for the toddler to learn from someone that was young. I don't know, like they just got that, you know, like children just have those connections where they can understand one another. And so that was very beautiful, and I'm sure like just that little planted, like, you know, that masculine energy of like, I'm gonna do the hard work now. Now I'm sure like they have years and years of peace of children managing their emotions, self-managing their emotions, and that's such a beautiful thing. So the last one is uncomfortability. In essence, I don't think that you need to have this let's just say there's a difference between subconscious discomfort, subconscious unnecessary discomfort, and conscious necessary uncomfortability. So discomfort and uncomfortability don't necessarily mean two different things, but I just like the way it sounds better. So it's more the way that I put it. We have a lot of things internally that are subconscious discomforts, things that we didn't necessarily choose to take on. Our subconscious just took it on from all of those years of programming, or all of those months, all of those days of programming. We really didn't choose that, and it's really unnecessary. And 9 times out of 10, it's something that we'd rather not experience. And 9 times out of 10, it also doesn't benefit us. But when it comes to conscious, chosen uncomfortability, those are things that make you uncomfortable, but you know they're for your higher self. You know they're for your higher good, your higher benefit, and they're just going to take you to higher places, you know, habits that make you uncomfortable, but you know it's going to move you closer to your purpose. Those are the type of uncomfortable things that we want to be happening, rather than, I think a lot of people have discomfort in their souls and their spirits. Like, I had a lot of heart chakra bondage closing, and now that I'm really opening that up, I could really feel like where I was carrying so much weight that I didn't even know that I was carrying, but I was. I was, and so I can feel how like all the extra discomfort that I was carrying before, and it was so unnecessary. But at the same time, it was nothing that I wished upon myself. It was nothing that I chose to carry. It was something that was passed to me, and you know, it was something that I thought was normal. Okay, and that's what happens with a lot of discomfort, you know, subconscious discomfort, is we think it's normal, but it's not. You can live in a way higher space, in a way more empowering space once you let that go. I choose conscious, needed uncomfortability over unconscious, unnecessary discomfort. I choose conscious, needed uncomfortability over unconscious or subconscious, unnecessary discomfort. Yeah, okay, there we go. See, we making up affirmations on the spot whenever we need to. You can follow me on TikTok at golden hoops _. I had decided that because I be forgetting what my TikTok is, but yeah, that is golden hoops _ I'm gonna try to put it right here. For Instagram, you can follow me at golden hoops rights. Yes, divine being. I'm so proud of you, honestly, for making it this far. Honestly, I made it pretty easy, you know. I made it easy for you. Nonetheless, I think you have made a huge step. I want to remind you about my personal client services. I will have that meditation video up as long as you guys comment down in the comment section and meditate, okay? And then I'll get the picture, okay? If you guys would like to sign up for my personal client services, you can do so by heading to my Instagram at Golden Hoops Rights and DMing me in all caps, no cap, vibrate higher, okay? And all caps, vibrate higher, and I will send you a Google form where you can fill out a little bit of your information, and then we will set up a client service call from there. I really enjoyed this. I think it's it's very therapeutic for my throat chakra. I am working on this. I'm working on sharing my gifts, sharing my soul, sharing my heart. It's a community in the comments, okay? So only divine goddess energy is gravitated to my channel. So when you see another goddess, you know, comment something, say what's up, say hello, say hi. I appreciate your divinity as always. Protect your energy and vibrate higher. See you next time, goddess. Divinity just follows me everywhere I grow.